Welcome to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. Go for good times, go for GoMart. With me, I have head wrestling coach Dylan Cottrell. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, happy to be back.
All right, Coach, we didn't get to talk to you last week, so there's a lot to talk about this week. Last weekend, you won your second NBC championship back-to-back. You had 6 guys win a individual title with Colton Drusius, Guy D. Leonardis, Wiley Hauser, Hayden Pummel, Nick Johnson, Isaiah Costo, all won. And then you had Hunter Ross, GQ, Caleb Brooks, and Kyle Helmet took second place. So you had all 10 qualified for the finals. Last year you had 9, so you broke that. Just kind of walk me through the day, the emotions, those championship matches, just how it was.
Yeah, I mean, awesome to win a back-to-back championship. Go up there. Our big rival is West Liberty, and so we recruit a lot of the same people, and it's consistently showing that our program is ahead of theirs right now, which is awesome. But you got to give a lot of credit to them too, because they're a big reason on why we are where we are. Mm-hmm. Right, for the first 3 years, that's what we were chasing, was that program, and if we got to that program, that's we were going to be in the mix. And now we're separating ourselves and putting ourselves above. We won by 30 points, which is a lot in that style with only 7 teams. So I was very happy with how the guys wrestled early. We talked about it last week that bonus points and stuff like that early was going to be big. And our guys up until the finals, obviously we didn't lose a match because we went 10 for 10, but we might have had 2 matches that didn't go tech fall or pin, like early bonus out of there. So our guys were doing really well at that killer instinct of putting people away. We went out there and we was looking for pins, looking for techs, and our guys were getting on the mat, getting off, keeping their bodies fresh, and then setting themselves up for the finals. But yeah, I was really happy with it. I thought we wrestled well overall. I thought we wrestled well in the finals too. Definitely dropped some matches that we probably shouldn't have, and it is what it is on those. I think right now when you're dropping matches, as long as you're learning something, it's still okay, right? As long as we're figuring out stuff, and we talk a lot about winning and losing the right way, and that's not how we really conduct ourselves. Obviously, that's a whole separate thing, but it's how we wrestle the matches, right, and how we're going about trying to wrestle 7 minutes and how that rep looks. And so I was really happy with it. Our guys did what they did, or did what they needed to do, going out there and getting bonus early and separating, and then putting 10 in the finals. It's pretty hard to lose that way, when I think West Lib was the closest with finalists, and I think they only had 5, and all 5 obviously were matched up head to head, and we beat them in 4 of the 5. So yeah, it was a great day. It's always nice when you're beating West Liberty, and even better when you're winning another MAC championship.
And then looking at Drusius, Hauser, and Castro, those are guys who were in the mix at the beginning of the season to be starters, but they were fighting for that starting spot. And then they come into the MC championship and end up winning individual titles in their class. What's that say about, not only those guys, but the program as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have more depth than we've ever had, and guys that are really good. And, Colton probably wrestled his best match he's wrestled in a Glenville singlet in the finals against Davis. He did a really good job of, being patient and committing to riding on top. So I was really proud of him with that, and I think he's, been wrestling a lot better, rounding into form. And then Wiley has been down at 57, up at 65, and just doing what he can to wrestle, and he's definitely wrestling the best he's ever wrestled here right now, winning that MEC championship. And, we had a guy get injured who was, I guess probably the starter at the time. And Wiley stepped up during those, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and has really asserted himself and wants to show me, hey, I'm the guy at the end of the year. And, I'm really proud of him. And then, Castro's kind of crazy because he won the MEC championship last year at 174 pounds, right? And then he goes up, 1, 2, 3 weight classes to heavyweight, wins it again. And so what I will say about Isaiah Castro is he's one of the best humans and one of the hardest workers I've ever had. And so anything that he gets, man, it's super fun. I love watching him wrestle. A lot of our fans love watching him wrestle. Just he's a go-getter for 7 minutes, and he's a kid who will do anything to help the team, right? Even if it's a detriment to himself. And so, we're trying to put him in the best possible scenarios, and he's getting there at heavyweight and getting his weight up, and I'm really excited about the regional and NCAA tournament for Isaiah Casto.
And now we get closer to the tournament, the regional. You were at Indianapolis this past weekend. You got 3 more top 25 wins. That's now 8 wins over top 25 teams this year in the dual format. You beat number 24 Maryville, number 23 Indianapolis, and number 7 McKendree. Hammett beat the number 1 returning wrestler at 197. Just what are your overall thoughts on how the weekend went?
Well, I didn't know that we had 8 ranked wins, so that's cool. That's probably half of our wins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. This dual tournament or duels or whatever it is kind of like a trap game. In football, call it the Notre Dame in Northern Illinois, because every year when we go up here, it seems that we don't wrestle our best. And I think it's because we're coming off MEC, right, a taper, and then we get back into hard training again. And so this has kind of been a trap week, and it's the first time that we've ever went up there and went 3-0. First time we beat McKendree in the history of our program. And so there was a lot of firsts. I felt like it wasn't like the performance was amazing, but we definitely, for how hard this is and being like a kind of a trap week, I thought we performed really, really well under the circumstances. So, and then you obviously had the massive moment of, Kyle Hammett wrestling up a weight class and beating their returning national champ, an undefeated wrestler at 197. And not just a national champ. Derek Blueball is a 3-time NCAA finalist, 2-time runner-up, 1-time champ. He's a guy who's going to be in the Hall of Fame of Division II wrestling. And we have some people out, and people stepped up, and Kyle didn't weigh in at 197 pounds. He weighed in at like 189, right? Like in between, so he can still go down to 184 later. So he's given up, close to 10 pounds, which is a lot in wrestling at that time. So that makes it even crazier, right? That he beat pound for pound one of the best guys in the country, and a very gritty match by him. I was very proud of him and of what he was doing. He was attacking the whole time. He was the aggressor. He got stall calls on him. He was on 6 or 7 legitimate attacks. And so, yeah, that might be the upset of the year, right, in the country in Division II. And so that was an awesome win for him. Hayden Pummel wrestled up. Really happy with that. Caleb Brooks wrestled up. Multiple guys. I'd say I'm more proud about that this weekend than I am the 3 top 25 wins, right? Is the unselfishness of our guys to wrestle up in the duels when there's a month left from season, where guys could easily say, hey, coach, March is right around the corner. I don't know if this is the best idea for me, right? It was, no problem. And for even like Hammett's case, Hammett came to me and asked earlier in the week, hey, can I go up? I want to wrestle him.
Sounds about right for him.
And exactly. And that's the type of guy he is. And that's why I think he won, right? Because he wanted that challenge, right? I want to go, I want to go wrestle the number 197. I know it'll help the team, and I want that match. And the other guys, when I asked Pummel, okay, no problem, right? I'll go up. Like, it'll help the team. First time I've ever done it, but I'll do it, right? Caleb Brooks has done it multiple times this year. And Coach, hey, we got into the last match, and the plan was that GQ was going to go 49 for that one, and Brooks was going to go 41. And I kind of said, hey, what do you want to do? And he said, Coach, I don't care. I'm a team guy. I'll do whatever. And I said, well, I think we probably have a better option if I think you will wrestle stylistically this guy better than Gavin will, right? And he was like, all right, let's do it, right? And he goes out there, and I think Samedra from McKendree was maybe the number 6 guy in the country at 149, and Brooks wrestles him 8-5, gets taken down late to lose, wrestles an awesome match, and it's like, man, we about upset almost top 10 guy there at 49, right? Like, and so I was just really proud of the guys for that, man, of just stepping up. And we needed it, right? We needed it to win those duels, right? With being a little depleted, and you have some guys out with the flu and all that, So yeah, it was an awesome weekend, more so for that than maybe technically the way we wrestled or anything like that. It was just the willingness, right, to put Glenville first. I like that.
And now, the season continues. You'll have Frostburg State in a quick turnaround on Wednesday. They've had a pretty good year, dual-wise. They're 9-3. You saw them, just 2 weeks ago at the MEC Championships. So just what are your expectations there to your guys and just how you think the duel will go?
Yeah, it's another MEC, in-house, and Josh Hutchins, he runs a great program over there. He was a longtime coach at Ashland, and he's doing a great job of building that program. But we got to go over there and beat those guys up, right? That's the goal. Is quick turnaround, whatever, it doesn't matter. Go over there. It's an MEC foe. Beat those guys up. Get back home healthy, and then start again. Yeah, they what are they, 9-3?
Yeah,
right. It's a good record, right? But we've talked about this a lot, that the dual record doesn't mean too much in wrestling on where you are as a team. They're a second-year program. He's a long-time coach. He's not dumb. He's not making them wrestle the schedule that we are, and he shouldn't, right? In my second year, I wasn't doing that,
exactly.
Right? Like, they're wrestling teams where the guys, they can get some confidence, and then they're sprinkling in some really tough ones in there, which he should be. He knows what he's doing, right? He's a smart coach, and he's bringing his guys along. With that being said, we need to go over there and whoop on them, right? And that's just the bottom line of it. And mostly for our guys, again, it's not about the dual score. It's about how we wrestle the matches, right? So everyone goes up there, puts in their best possible rep for the day to get themselves better for March, and that score will take care of itself.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show, presented by GoMart. With me, I have head men's basketball coach Bob Bolen. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Jagger, glad to be here.
All right, Coach, this past week you went 2-0. You started out with an 82-59 win over Point Park. Shot 50% from the field as a team, 69% from three. They only shot 30-30 as a team. Just your thoughts on the win.
We really shot the ball well. Our best shooting night of the year. Mm-hmm. We're going to be hard to beat if we go 11 for 16 from the three-point line. And Amar Maxwell had a great game. And, defensively, I thought we really played well. I think Point Park's an extremely talented team, and that was one of our best efforts of the year.
And then you turned around on Saturday and got an 84-81 win at Salem. It's not like the first matchup you had with them. You beat them by 30 earlier in the year on Kids Day. Devin Collins had 25 to lead the way. Just it was a gritty win. Just your thoughts on the win.
Yeah, we just had to tough it out, win the game down the stretch. We didn't shoot the ball like we did against Point Park, but I thought we played well. And any time in this conference, and I consider Salem in the conference, they're playing a conference schedule. Anytime you go on the road to get a win, that's a big plus for your program. And thought we got off to a great start. We were up 20-10, and we just never could pull away. And just a good, hard-fought win for us.
And you mentioned going on the road. You'll go to D&E on Wednesday night. You beat them earlier in the year, and then you finish out the week at home against West Virginia Wesleyan, a team you lost to in the year. You won 3 out of your last 4. What do you guys got to do this week? Just to keep the wins coming.
Well, we just have to. Use our depth. We got 3 or 4 guys right now with that stomach bug that's going around, and our depth's been good all year. So we're going to have to use that to our advantage. And D&E up here, we had the same amount of field goals. It was a tough game. We were able to draw more fouls and get to the basket more, and we ended up winning at 72-65. So that was a hard-fought game against them. And then we lost by 4 at Wesleyan. So that's 2 teams that we had really close games against earlier in the season. So we got to come up with our A game. We got to be ready to play basketball, and as long as we move the ball and our shot selection remains as good as it's been, and then we get on the defensive end like we did this past week, we got a good chance. And
I want to ask you about it too. Zyree Blackwood, a guy earlier in the year, was in the rotation, kind of fell out of it. Now he's really been in the rotation again. What'd you like out of him to bring him back into that spot?
Well, he only had 2 points at Salem, and he played great. Mm-hmm. His floor game, he had 4 or 5 assists, played good defense. He gives us a rebounder from that 2-guard spot. He crashes the boards hard, and everybody worries about points. I thought Zyree had a great game at Salem. Even though he didn't score a lot, he played a good game. So, he gives us that rebound and that toughness, and I think he's been doing a really good job.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming today, and we'll talk to you next week.
Okay, Jagger, thank you.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me, I have head acrobatics and tumbling coach Taylor Broadwater. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me again.
All right, Coach, this past weekend you went 1-1, had a tri-meet at West Liberty. You beat West Lib, but lost to number 6 Fairmont State. A really good team there. Just your thoughts on how the meet went overall.
I'm extremely happy with the meet yesterday. I think with the changes that we made in a 2-day span, I'm very happy with the turnout of what they put on the floor and the confidence that they showed yesterday for a first meet.
And then last week we kind of talked about some things you wanted to see other than winning. Obviously, you want to see execution, working hard, effort, all that stuff. How do you feel your girls executed with all that?
I do feel that they executed very well. Again, obviously not exactly what we were hoping for this first meet, but with our changes that we made 2 days prior to the starting lineup, I felt like they executed very well with those changes. I felt like they were pretty relaxed on the mat yesterday, which was nice to see because at the mock meet, I definitely saw nerves yesterday.
Obviously.
Yes, they were still nervous, but being such a young team, I do feel that my freshmen really stepped up yesterday and let those nerves go away and just kind of enjoyed the moment. They all seem to be in great moods, and that obviously I think helps us a lot on the mat when they're very relaxed and just enjoying what they're doing. We've worked since August for that, and I think that showed yesterday.
And now you have, from recording now, you have 9 days until your next meet. I was originally planned for the 23rd. It's now going to be the 19th. Does it feel like it's good that you're not, bouncing back with another meet just a week later, that you kind of get some time to work on some things that maybe you needed to work on?
Yes, I am very excited that we have some time to move things around again and try to see where we can get some start values. I do feel that if we could just up our tumbling start values and try to work there, that we could be a much stronger team than we are currently. But due to everything that we've been up against this year, and I know we're not the only team, but with injuries that have happened, we're in a pretty good spot with that right now.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on in, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you so much.
Get ready to hit the road with GoMart. Each month, we're featuring a special item to fuel your journey and score you bonus reward points in our Road to Rewards promotion. Each purchase earns you a token, so load up and keep cruising toward big rewards. Plus, the top 25 token earners each month will receive 5,000 additional bonus reward points. Check the GoMart app to see this month's featured item, and as always, earn additional savings on products store-wide with reward member exclusives. Go to GoMart.com for more details.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me, I have head track and field coach Dan Meyers. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Jagger, thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, you're coming off a bye week, if we're talking football terms. You previously had a meet every week for 3 weeks straight, but last week you didn't. You feel you guys benefited from that, having no meet this past week as we get closer to MECs?
Yeah, I think with the snow that we experienced earlier in January, it was good to have, multiple track sessions. That was a distance group's first time being on the track multiple times in a week, and our sprint group, getting in blocks and doing tech work multiple times a week on the track. So it was good to do that. I know we have a little bit more snow coming this week, but with that being said, I'm even more grateful for last week that we could train hard through last week. So everything's starting to wind down, and 2 to go.
And I mentioned the MC Championship. You'll be at Marshall this weekend, which is the home of the MC Championship, in about 2 weeks. How do you view this upcoming meet? Is it a tune-up? Is it where you see where you can plug people out to get more points in the meet? What's it like for you from your coaching perspective?
Yeah, there's a few things. I mean, we have a few things on the board, maybe 1 or 2 athletes in some different events, to try to get qualified, to try to squeeze some more athletes into the conference meet. But I really wouldn't consider it a tune-up. I mean, the league is so deep right now, and we had a lot of the big schools, competed last week between Ashland and Penn State and some other big meets. So, I mean, we have some really good athletes that are still looking to move up in the rankings. So, we're going to go let it fly Friday, Saturday, and kind of see where it leaves us heading into the conference meet.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on in, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yep, thank you.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me, I've head baseball coach Jimmy Mullins. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Jagger. How's it going today?
Pretty good. All right, Coach. Last year, it was another historic year for you guys. You went 28-21, had 21 wins in the Mountain East Conference, which is the most in school history. You had 5 all-conference selections. But now looking at the 2025 season, you bring back first-team selections, Austin Cord and Great Landis, and then a second-teamer in Zach Bayer. You also bring back Lance Misson, Cole Grady, Adam Bright, Luke Swaggart, DeJesus. So you bring back a lot of experience, but you also had to fill some holes in with some guys leaving. You dipped into the portal a little bit, got some good high school guys as well. How do you feel that you've filled some of those voids and also just meshed those new guys with the returners you got coming back?
Well, obviously, anytime you lose players of that caliber, it's hard to just replace them right away, especially in the game of baseball because, it takes time to develop guys through and things like that. But, the guys that we did bring in, feel really good about and really like the progress of some of our younger guys who might not necessarily have all the experience yet, but have been putting in the work and being really receptive and are getting ready to go. So anytime you lose guys like that, it's not so easy just to replace them, but it's an opportunity. It's just part of our job and part of the game. It's an opportunity to replace them with guys who are coming through and get them the experience and get ready to go. I'm really confident in how we develop guys through, and development is sometimes over buzzword at our level because you're trying to recruit the best players and just let them naturally develop into their own bodies and how they move and their athletic abilities, and I'm just confident on how we do things here, and those guys are ready to go. I'm totally confident in them. The newer guys are going to not newer guys, but guys who are going to get more experience now, have been in our system. There's going to be ups and downs just like anybody else, and I'm going to have their back the whole way, and I'm just confident in them, and I can't wait to see them play.
And you talk about seeing them play. You'll play this weekend, scheduled around for Saturday and Sunday with Clarion. It's a team you played last year to start the year. You beat them 2 out of 3. They went 15-34 last year. You obviously want to win every game that you play, but what are some things you'd like to see out of your guys this first weekend of play?
Well, first of all, congratulations to their new head coach, Johnny Poss. He was at the University of Maryland on their coaching staff, and he's had some experience there, some Division III experience, and it's always exciting to get new coaches in as head coaches and advance his career, and really excited for him, and I know he'll do good things at Clarion, so we're looking forward to seeing him here this weekend. When we play an opponent, we always talk about the opponent as a nameless, faceless entity, at least in our program, to where because we can't physically go one-on-one like maybe some other sports, or we're not going to hit anybody. One person can't take over the game, so it's a nameless, faceless entity. It's going to give us feedback on how well we've prepared because we're playing against the baseball. So, we know one of their guys who gave us some trouble last year. That's part of it. We're trying to simulate some stuff he throws and get better prepared to face him. Quite honestly, we weren't very good to start the year last year. Matter of fact, if we started a little better, we would have probably won 35 games again. But we didn't, and credit to our guys for sticking in and plugging away and getting better. But, I think we're better prepared this year to go, but I'm just excited to get out and see them play.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this weekend.
Yeah, thanks for everything you do. Thank you.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coach Show presented by GoMart. With me, I have head women's basketball coach Emily Stoller. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
All right, Coach. This past week you went 1-1. Started out the week with Point Park. You had a lead there late, just struggled in the fourth quarter, only scored 6 points, and Point Park was able to take advantage of that. Just your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I think just plain and simple, I think they outworked us on our home floor that night. Obviously, heading into the third quarter, we had a pretty substantial lead, and I think we just got outworked on the boards. We got rebounded by 11. They worked a little bit harder than us. They hit the floor for loose balls before us. They held us to 6 points in the fourth quarter, and a lot of that had to do with them, and a lot of that had to do with our mistakes as well. So it's just a combination of everything. But at the end of the day, I think we just got outworked on our home floor.
And then you turned around on Saturday. It was a complete 360 when you look at the game. You won 89-65 at Salem. It was intensity for 40 minutes, pressing all over the place. You forced almost 30 turnovers. He had a really good game from Stevie Yancey. He was our best in a Pioneer uniform, had 18 points, 6 assists, I believe 5 boards. What did you like out of your girls in the win?
Yeah, it's definitely nice to be back in the win column after a 3-game losing streak there, and a little bit of a slump here near the end of the season. We're looking to get over the hump and, to continue with some momentum heading into the tournament. What you mentioned, Stevie Yancey. Stevie Yancey's a baller.
Yeah.
She comes in, and I put her in a role more so of a facilitator than a scorer here at the one position for us, and she's been doing a really good job at the facilitation part, and, we've had conversations here near the end of the year, and she's stepping up back into her scoring role, and it just comes natural to her. And when she's a more complete player, that makes us so much better and a lot harder to guard. But happy to get the win against Salem, and looking ahead here with D&E and Wesleyan, I think it's going to be a big week, and hopefully we can take a little momentum shift here heading into the next week.
And you mentioned D&E and Wesleyan. It's two teams you've already beat this year. You get the win on Saturday. What's it going to take for your girls now to really get this thing going? Because you said you want to get on the flip side of the winning side here as you end the season. So what's it going to take here in the final about 4-week stretch of the regular season?
Yeah, I think just a lot of effort, a lot of just getting back to who we are and what the name means. Wearing it across our chest here every night. Whether we're at home or we're out away, because it means something to me being an alumni of the program and being here for so long. It feels like going on 9 years. I know what the name means, and I know that it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of hard effort and just showing up nightly. And heading into this week and next week, we're just going to take it one game at a time. So we're looking forward to playing D&E and getting on the road and giving some effort in that uniform.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this week.
Hey, thanks for having me on.